It's time for a quick time update of the November 3rd meeting of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. I'm Lloyd Higuera, and with me is County Manager Larry Werner. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you.
And one of the major items discussed at the November 3rd meeting was commissioners adopting an ordinance called the 2016 Highway Revenue Bond Ordinance, and that authorizes the issuance of highway revenue bonds. And can you give us more detail on exactly what the bond money will be used for?
Right. This action actually is the culmination of a project to look at how do we fix some of the major highways and roadways within Douglas County. And we're mainly talking about collectors and arterials. And back in December, the staff made a pitch to the board and the Regional Transportation Commission to get the 5-cent highway gas tax added to the county's option tax, and that did pass in February. And the concept of that was to generate enough bonding capacity through those revenues to be able to go out and do some major reconstruction of certain roadways. So there were 5 roads identified that needed to have immediate work on them, and that was the Jacks Valley Road, the Centerville Road, Dresslerville Road, Johnson Lane, and Waterloo Lane. And these 5 were identified by the traffic volumes that they had and then the condition of their surface. So there had been a whole series of steps up to this point of talking about the projects, getting the estimates in, going through the steps, hiring the bond counsel, that sort of thing. But this actually then culminated in the ability for the county to then sign an agreement and get the actual bonds purchased. And that'll take place tomorrow morning when we actually see who comes in with the best offer, and then we'll agree to that and move forward.
Okay. And so there are still a few hoops to jump through. When could the work begin on the various roadways?
With this approval and with the selling of the bonds that hopefully will occur tomorrow morning, then that gives us then the funding to begin the design work, which will start immediately. And with any luck at all, we may have something that happen as much as fall of next year or spring of the following year.
Okay. And of course, the nickel gas tax is going to pay back the bonds.
That's correct. The intent was to use the nickel. They had estimated that the bond cost would be about $880,000 a year. And it looks like that what we're seeing now that the cost will be around $830,000. And so, I mean, it's always nice to be on the low side of those things. But
sure. Okay, well that was the major item discussed at that November 3rd meeting. Did want to get a plug-in for the upcoming stormwater advisory meetings. There are going to be 4 meetings starting the 14th of November and going into December. Could you give us more detail on those?
Sure. And this is the next step after we had our town hall meetings. We'd had a series of 6 of them over the past month or so, a couple months I guess. And we're going to start on the 14th at the community center. Back up a little. It'll be on the 14th. It will be at the community center starting at 6:30 to 8:30. And the first meeting will be able to get the purpose will be to get the committee organized, get the ground rules kind of established, kind of identify to them what needs to be worked on, give them a background on the stormwater utility, and try to kind of get out some of the preliminary work. And then the second meeting will be on the 15th at the same location, same time. And we'll take it into a little more in-depth detail on some of the issues that the committee needs to make recommendations on that can help guide us how we might direct this program. A couple of the really tough ones will be on December 4th and December 5th. And those, again, it will be at the community center, and again from 6:30 to 8:30. Those will be how do we work as the county with the general improvement districts, with the towns, and then particularly with the ag community. How's the relationship of a fee-based system work within those areas that are kind of under their own government as opposed to the county, and how do we share revenues or don't charge or those kinds of issues? We'll talk through those, give options, and ask for the committee to weigh in on what makes the best sense to try to move this forward.
Okay, so once the committee gets all their meetings done, then will that move on to the Board of Commissioners?
Then it would go on to the Board of Commissioners. And I want to take it there regardless of whether it's to either stop the program or to impose the program. But the program had started in 2009, and then it kind of just went dark. And it really never got brought before the Board of County Commissioners. So this time we want to take it all the way there so we can really have a full hearing on it and kind of understand how everything works. and try to get a decision one way or the other from the board.
Okay. Well, Larry, thank you for the information you shared here on the QuickTime update. Our County Manager, Larry Werner, I'm Lloyd Higuera, and we'll see you next time on the QuickTime update.